No pain, no gain. How many times have you heard that as it relates to working out in the gym? You feel like you can't get any gains unless you're in pain? Well, guess what? Today we're going to talk about several different kinds of pain: spiritual pain, emotional pain, psychological pain, as well as physical pain. So I hope you are stretched out, ready to go, muscles all warm, and your walking shoes are on your feet because we are about to travel down the road to wisdom. Let's go. Good morning, good morning. It is August the 21st, Monday morning, and I'm back with another quote, not a word of the day, but a quote of the day. And here, you see it right here. Boom. Pain makes you stronger. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Pain makes you stronger. And I'm not going to have I don't have a definition for that because it's self-explanatory. Pain makes you stronger. And I'm going to talk different ways on how I think and what I read and researched about how pain makes you stronger. I'm going to read a scripture about pain and healing, and it comes from the book of Jeremiah, the 29th chapter, the 11th verse, and it says, "For I know you plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give hope and future." I'll say it again from the book of Jeremiah, 29th chapter, first verse. "For I know plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give hope and future." So the Lord puts us through a lot of pains, and we put ourselves through pains too. First, we're going to talk about physical pain. I know we go to the gym and we lift with heavy weights. We try to build muscle and eat right and all that kind of stuff. And there's always that saying, like I said in the intro, no pain, no gain. That is what they always said. And also, it knows basically when you build muscle, you're breaking down the muscle that you have now, and then once your body heals, it heals back that muscle a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, so you're able to increase your muscle mass and muscle size. And of course, you got to give your muscles the nutrients it needs, the protein it needs. That's the protein is pretty much the fuel to build muscles. But also, there are different kind of pain, like emotional pain, like if you lost a loved one, or you lost a job, or there's an illness, or there's a death in the family. Several different kinds of emotional pain can affect you different ways. Emotional pain can contribute to psychological pain for us, depression, where you just been hurt so badly and so deeply that you go into a state of depression. And a lot of times people say that when people forget things or they may react to pain different ways, it's the mind's way and the brain's way of protecting itself and the way of protecting your psyche until you can find a way to cope with it, be properly treated, get the necessary counseling that you need to try to get your old self back or get some semblance of your old self back. You never be back totally 100%, I think, depending on how tragic the pain can be. I know the loss of a loved one. I know my sister lost her son a few years back, and my nephew, and it was very tragic for our family. Also, our uncle, he died. My cousin just died, or two of our uncles died, cousin, and my nephew. It was very tragic. But that pain that we felt has strengthened our family. We've become stronger from that. It's still painful when you think about it from time to time, but we've done better. Their deaths have made us stronger. We're sad, but I think that it also is a catalyst for our spiritual health. The spiritual pain that we're suffering now should motivate those of us that want to see our family members again. You have to get your soul right. You got to get your ducks in order. You got to get your whatever your orders in affair, because only way you're going to get to see them again, based on our beliefs, if you're a believer, you have to get your soul right. You got to be saved. You got to give your life to Christ. So if and when, not if, but when you die, when He calls you home, you'll be able to see your loved ones there up there as well. So spiritual pain, along with emotional pain, they go hand in hand in some things. But pain makes you stronger, and here's some reasons why I think pain makes you stronger. We need pain and suffering to help us grow. A lot of times when people grow from stuff, it's when something tragic happens because they're in so much pain, and then when they finally get their wits about them, then they come up with different ways. God inspires them, or whoever you believe inspires you, or whatever believes inspires you, and you pick yourself up by your bootstraps and you put things in place. You come up with foundations. You come up with kids that may need things. They get scholarships. It's all different kind of things that someone's pain and suffering has caused and has sparked different things. Like for instance, the Make a Wish Foundation that came from someone who was in a particular position to have people that look, I'm dying, and before I go, or I'm in a situation that doesn't look like I may recover from, I would love to have this one last wish done. And a lot of times, I think some of the biggest make a wish have been I've heard and read from the WWE. A lot of these children that love the wrestlers, they'll come, and the wrestlers will come there and give them memorabilia and to spend time with them. A lot of athletes do that. A lot of famous people do that. It's a very good program, but it's coming from tragedy. Tragedy is someone that or something that happened, and now from that tragedy, it's making that child stronger, it's making that person stronger. So whenever it is the time for them to go, at least they go with some semblance of, look, I've done my best I could. I've got my life in order, and now I have seen my particular wrestler or a particular famous person, a particular fan going to a particular game or whatever that wish is. It made that person's life a little bit better, and that strength by someone doing that act of kindness, it strengthens it strengthens their character. It gives them hope, and it shows what leads to my second thing: compassion. When you know someone may not be around much longer, you feel compassion for them because you know that it could have been you. It just as easily could have been you there. And the roles were reversed, and you're the one that maybe has been given some diagnosis that's not favorable, and then your last wish or one of your last wishes here before you go is that you meet that person or you go to that place or you do whatever that Make-A-Wish Foundation is able to grant you, and it shows compassion. Um, pain and suffering can make you very compassionate and very empathetic to certain situations. Also, it makes you feel less entitled. Sometimes we feel entitled about things because we're on top of it. We're healthy. We're rich. Our job is going good. Our family life is going good. Everything's going good. And then sometimes we just think because we reach a certain status that we're entitled to get whatever comes with that perks. And sometimes the perks are good, but you're not entitled. And the feeling of entitlement can sometimes rub people the wrong way because just like everything else, whenever you get to a certain status, you should always show humility. Always show humility. But I'm telling you, when the stuff hits home and it hits your home and it hits your family or it hits your job and stuff, a lot of times that entitlement that you felt at one time goes right out the window. So a very good another thing that can kind of chop you down and snap you back into reality that pain and suffering can cause. And and it shows you that sometimes pain and suffering shows you where you need to change. Because if you do something and you get into some pain or something that you can't do physically or something you can't do maybe intellectually, then it shows you your weaknesses. Because if you did something to mess up, it may cause pain, maybe not physical pain, but mental anguish or really bump to your pride. Your pride is hurt and you're feeling down on yourself, but then it shows you, look, I need to improve on this. One thing that I always see about that, and to me is a good example, is basketball players, particularly in sports. When a basketball player may go to the championship game, and his game got him there, but then whenever they really use that defense, that tight defense, they play hard. That's a lot of times when they see their weaknesses, and then sometimes, and a lot of times, you see their weakness is so glaring, and the other team takes advantage of it that they lose the game, and then the other team becomes a champion, and then that hurts. I mean, that player goes through the whole summer, and he's like, I should have done this. I got to work on my free throws. I got to work on my 3-point. Or I got to work on my handles. I got to work on my footwork. And a lot of times, that pain, that disappointment, causes them to hit that gym that summer, and man, they come back with a vengeance. So pain and suffering always is also is a good indicator to show you your weaknesses and shortcomings. Um, um, Pain forces us to go on a journey of self-discovery, and it makes you realize what you can't or can't handle. Um, this past weekend, a good friend of mine, we were on a security detail, and everything was going good to the end. And one of these individuals got highly intoxicated and was starting to take off their clothes and is acting a donkey. And this cat was about 6'3", 260, 265, and all muscle. And me and my friend, we're pretty good sized men. I'm about 5'10", 240, 250. And he's about the same height, same weight. And I'm telling you, it was all we could do to handle this individual, and we called for backup. And boy, once the guys got there, it still was a chore to get him situated and to get him um, restrained and get him to where he needed to be. But I'm telling you, it made me wise. It brought wisdom because I would never, probably ever work that security detail again. Not because I'm afraid of anything, but it's just young bull, man. This cat, 20 something years old, young bull, full of testosterone, strong as ox. Hey, I'm 53 years old. I'm not scared by any means, and I still have strength. But I'm 21-year-old versus 52-year-old. I'm not 270, and I'm not 6'3", and I'm just telling you that was a learning. Wasn't pain, but I learned pain, and I learned wisdom. And look, I don't need to be out here unless I absolutely has absolutely positively have to be. I'm not going to shun my responsibility at all, no means. And if somebody calls for help, I'm definitely coming. But that security detail was something that I really didn't need. Didn't need the money. Just did it because a good friend of mine was working, and we clicked, and it's cool to hang out with him. But hey, it taught me a lesson. Not everything, not all money is good money. So just food for thought on that. Um, Gaining wisdom when you suffer pain, how it does one of three things. It puts things in perspective and helps you appreciate the importance of time. When you do something and you spend a lot of time and then it doesn't work out and you feel that anguish, that disappointment, it teaches you, okay, look, this time I just can't do this foolish stuff, this crazy stuff. I got to make sure if I'm going to spend and waste my time on this particular project or this particular whatever relationship, whatever the case may be, the next time you'll know that, look, you'll be able to avoid the pitfalls or avoid the mistakes that you made in that previous relationship or previous investment or previous whatever the case may be. Pain and suffering, the loss of what you got, or loss of what you had, will teach you the next time you go down that same road what not to do and what to do. Another thing it does is helps you learn to prioritize. You go through a situation and you think you're doing it right, and then it comes out total failure, whatever the case may be. Then you will learn to prioritize. Okay, look, I need to do this, this, and this. And next time you try it again, instead of doing ABC, a lot of times you cut out some of the crazy stuff that you do, or some of the time-consuming stuff that's not necessary. It's kind of trim the fat and make sure that you prioritize what you need to do and what you don't need to do. Third thing it does do is help focus on what matters and less time to worry about what people think. Once you get hurt and come bounce back from that hurt, then you're not going to worry about what other people think when you try it again. You're going to do what's best for you, and you're going to do what you think that's most important to you. The stuff that's not important to you, the stuff that don't matter, the stuff that one time you thought mattered and what you cared about, you're going to learn from pain and suffering. No, that didn't matter. What mattered was I should have done this, or I should have done that, or I should have said this, I should have said that. And then you're not going to worry about what people say because you already tried to cater to certain people. So on the first time you try this relationship, adventure, or whatever the case may be, project, whatever it is, and it didn't work out, you get your feelings hurt. Now you're going to do it for the second time or whatever turn it is. You need to do it for yourself and say, look, it doesn't matter what other people think. I'm going to do what I think. And I'm not going to worry about whether or not I step on certain people's toes or not. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do what's fair. And I'm going to make sure I don't care what people think. As long as I know I'm doing it from a good place, as long as I know I'm putting in the work, I'm not doing anything, cutting any corners, doing anything illegal, anything silly. I'm doing it the right way, no matter how long it may be or whatever craziness. I'm doing what is totally necessary. And I'm going to make sure that I do it for me. And whatever anybody else thinks doesn't matter at this particular point. Last, we're going to touch on 9 ways to use pain to become stronger. Way number 1, pain can help you improve relationships. If something happens in a relationship and it causes so much pain, and once you get over that pain, and prime example is me and my brother, he made some decisions that I just didn't care for, and we went through a period of time where we didn't talk to one another. But then, once I became spiritually, became saved, and once I turned my life around in a spiritual direction, I want to repair the relationship. And now our relationship is back on track. I made that conscious decision to reach out to him, and we talked to each other, and then our relationship is back on track. Second thing you can do is it can make you more compassionate. Like I said, when you see somebody in pain and then you think to yourself, man, that could be me. Your heart goes out to them. If you have a heart, your heart is going to go out to someone that you see is in really pain and anguish. You're going to want to help that person. Someone that you may not have even cared for, y'all didn't set horses, was not your cup of tea, but you see that individual in serious pain. If you have a heart, you're going to empathize. This is going to make you more compassionate to that individual, what they're going through. Um, Third thing, it can grant you wisdom. Like I said, you get the right kind of pain, be it physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever kind of pain it is, it hits you the right way. You're going to learn a valuable lesson, what not to do. Don't do that again. We may want to avoid that. Or if you got to go through it again, you do something very, very different than what you did for the first time. So you're going to learn from that. That's going to grant you wisdom. Fourth thing, it strengthens you. It's going to physically strengthen you. It's going to emotionally strengthen you, whatever it is. Relationships, if you go through a bad relationship or whatever, or you go through a bad period and you get past that, and you and that person get back together, then it's going to make you stronger because the trust is going to be reestablished and the love to be reestablished. As if you truly forget and forgive, all that is going to work out and it's going to make you stronger. It's going to strengthen that relationship. Something happening at the job between you and a colleague, and then y'all sit down and talk man to man, man to woman, woman to woman, whatever the case may be. Y'all clear the air and y'all truly forget about it and get on the same page and you're speaking the same language. That's going to strengthen your relationship and strengthen your bond at work. Um, Number five, you can be inspired. A lot of times when tragedy happens, when pain happens, it inspires us to do better things. It inspires us to do things like granting scholarships or become a mentor or donate money or donate time or do anything that's going to help somebody else. It inspires us to do ideas, to create different programs, to do different things. It can be very inspirational. It can be very, very vital to helping somebody else by experiencing and by explaining them the pain and testifying in your pain, that what happened to you could definitely, if you sit down and talk to them and share that with you, it can definitely help somebody else. Six, happiness. Pain can cause you happiness. Once you get through the pain and you get everything behind you and you realize, man, and like, whew, I'm glad that's over. I had to go through that painful process, but now it's over with, and now I can truly focus on being happy instead of worrying about the pain and the anguish I was going to feel because I had to tell somebody something or something happened at work or something happened at church, whatever the case may be. It can definitely, once you get past that pain, it can make you happy because everything that you stressed about and was crazy and going crazy about is in the past. So now the only thing you can do is focus on better times and good times. It can definitely make you happy. The seventh thing it can do is it can make you less selfish. A lot of times when you experience some pain, man, because everything's going your way, but you really feel that pain, man, and you hurt, man, and you're going through it, and you want to go outside in the rain, like Keith Sweat said, or you want to stand in the shower in the rain and stand in the shower so people can't see that you're crying. That can, man, it can take you down to, man. It can make you humble. It can make you less selfish and make you like, man, maybe if I wouldn't have done that, maybe if I wouldn't have treated her like this, or maybe if I wouldn't have said this, or maybe if I would have told somebody at work, or maybe if I would have done this or that, or whatever the case may be, then and stop worrying about me so much and getting me first instead of looking after my own people, instead of looking after my wife or looking after my girlfriend, or looking after my husband, looking after my boyfriend, or looking after my friend, my colleague, whatever the case may be, and stop being so selfish and worrying about getting me first and worrying about maybe, look, I'm going to take a back seat this time and I'm going to help my other man. I'm going to help my wife. I'm going to help my girlfriend. I'm going to help that. Whatever the case may be. If you take this pain, once you lost something because you were selfish, it can make you so much less selfish because you're going to be like, it's not good to be successful or rich, whatever, and I have nobody to share it with. That sucks. So pain can make you less selfish. Number 8, pain can definitely humble you. You gotta have humility. You get enough pain, man, you get embarrassed, man, you say something crazy, or the tabloids get hold to you, or the media get hold to you, or that machine, that beast, that cancel culture gets hold to you. It can make you very humble, especially if you're on top and you're riding that wave, and then something tragic, something blindsides you. Guess what? You're gonna get humble real quick because if you don't, and if you do that crazy, then guess what? There's a saying: pride goes before the fall. So you better humble yourself. If not, that pride can definitely get you, and you'll be in a place that you don't want to be. Last thing, it can orientate. So if you kind of out of whack, man, you need to get back on course. Getting on pain can get you back on course, man. You can be just flying high and doing your own thing and veer off course, man. Get morally off course, get spiritually off course, get emotionally off course, psychologically off course. Hey, something painful happens, something, and it can draw you right back, and you get right back on. You go back to that training that you receive at home, that training that you receive in the military. It can get you right back, and get you back right back to discipline, because sometimes we all get complacent. And my supervisor and my chief always tell me, we all get complacent. The right thing happens, the right kind of pain and pressure be put on you, and it can course correct. It can course correct and put you right back on the track where you need to be at. So pain can definitely cause you to refocus and reorient. That word is kicking my butt. Reorientate where you're at. So if you're at kind of disarray, it can put you back on the right place. And one thing, a saying, I'm going to get two sayings for it. The first saying is, new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. New beginnings are often described as painful endings. Something can add real bad, and something it can and you think it's bad, but it could definitely be a new beginning. I'm going to give you a prime example. I was working at a little town called Lake City, and where I made an investigator. And I was doing pretty well back there. And there was a opportunity for me to live in a bigger house that was a little bit farther away than where I was currently living at. Where I was currently living at was within the actual mileage that we could go back and forth to work and drive a company car. The place I was going to move, which was bigger and was going to be a little bit cheaper, it was about a mile outside of that range that was set for us to drive back to respond to any kind of call. So before I committed to the bigger house with lesser money, I asked my supervisor, I asked the chief, and he said, hey, Danny's moving to a location that's going to be a little bit far out the range of driving the approved mileage that you approved to drive a company car. Will it be okay? It's just 1 mile past. Chief says, yeah, 1 mile, I can work with that. Not a problem. Goes on vacation, comes back. Then he has a whole different story. The 1 mile is just a deal breaker. So I go from being an investigator, driving a car, to I had to drive my own personal car to and from the police department, and then get an investigator car, do my work, get back in my personal car, and drive home. I was like, that ain't fair. I mean, you told me this, and this, but got to do what you got to do. So, in addition to that, a few weeks pass, and then he takes me out of investigations and puts me back on patrol. So I got to drive my personal car and come back to patrol, work 12 hours as a sergeant when I already progressed to an investigator. So I'm like, why am I being punished because of 1 mile? So to me, it was painful, and I was pretty upset, upset to the point that I found somewhere else to work. Where I'm currently at now, I put in my 2 weeks notice. Well, I actually gave him 3 weeks, and I left because I did not thought I was being treated fairly. Now, I say all that to say this, just what I said, a new beginning is often disguised as a painful ending. It was painful ending leaving Lake City, which is my hometown, but now I'm where I'm at now, and I'm prospering. So that painful ending in Lake City turned into something that was a very new and very beneficial and a very prospering adventure where I'm at now, where I'm prospering and I'm doing very well. So sometimes painful endings, like I said, can be new beginnings. And I'm going to close up by saying one last thing. This is the quote that I want to go off on. The pain you feel today will be the strength that you feel tomorrow. And the story I just told you is the strength that I felt. The pain that you feel today will be the strength that you feel tomorrow. I want to go off on that, letting you ponder on that, let that resonate with you in your soul. So don't be upset because you get pain and hurting today, because tomorrow you'll be that much stronger. I guarantee you. I promise you. If this is your first time ever seeing me on this channel, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. I don't want you to miss any material that I upload. Please give me that thumbs up, that like. That definitely helps. And leave a comment. Any comment that you leave, I will definitely read and get back to you. And I appreciate you watching this show from the beginning to the end. Tomorrow I'll be back with another word of the day. And I hope that you all had a fantastic weekend. I hope that you stay cool and stay blessed. And guess what? Always keep your shoes on, because we're going to always walk together on the road to wisdom.